Have you ever been in a meeting where someone speaks over you louder, sharper, dripping with arrogance while you sit there trying to keep your composure? You feel the heat rise inside, your hands clench, but your tongue stays still. What if I told you that you could turn that moment of humiliation into quiet victory, without shouting, without anger, and without losing yourself? Arrogant people are everywhere at work, in family gatherings, online comment sections. They try to dominate, to belittle, to prove themselves bigger. But here's the secret. Arrogance is fragile. It's a mask hiding insecurity. And the Stoics knew exactly how to remove that mask calmly, firmly, and with wisdom that still disarms even today. Picture this. You're standing face to face with arrogance. Everyone around is waiting to see what you'll do. Will you fight back and fuel the fire? Or will you choose a higher ground where your silence, your words, and your composure become the strongest weapons in the room? Welcome to Stoic Blend, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. Today, we're going to explore exactly how to disarm arrogant people using timeless Stoic principles and 5 powerful phrases that transform conflict into clarity. Part 1. Understanding arrogance, the Stoic lens. Arrogance has a way of cutting through the room like a knife. We've all felt it, the coworker who talks down to everyone, the relative who always has to be right, or the stranger online who believes they're smarter than all humanity combined. Their arrogance seeks to dominate. But Stoicism reminds us, arrogance is not strength. It is weakness, dressed up in a loud costume. Seneca once wrote, "Arrogance is the desire to seem bigger, when in fact you are smaller." What he meant was simple. Those who shout for attention are revealing their own insecurity. Think about it. If you truly know your worth, do you need to prove it with arrogance? Epictetus taught that no insult has power unless we give it power. Arrogant people throw words like daggers, but those words only wound if we let them pierce our minds. Marcus Aurelius agreed, reminding himself daily that he couldn't control the tongues of others, only his own reactions. This is the foundation for everything that follows. To disarm arrogant people, you don't need louder words, you need sharper calm. You need to be the one who refuses to play their game. And once you learn the Stoic way of responding, arrogance loses its grip. But how do you apply this in the chaos of real life, in the workplace, at family dinners, or in today's overwhelming digital culture? That's where the 5 Stoic phrases come in. Part 2, the first weapon. You have a right to think that way. Imagine you're in a high-pressure meeting at work in New York. A colleague slams your ideas, raising their voice, dripping with disdain. Everyone expects you to snap back. Instead, you calmly say, "You have a right to think that way." This phrase is deceptively simple, but its power lies in what it doesn't do. It doesn't agree. It doesn't surrender. It simply acknowledges the other person's perspective without giving it dominance. Why is this so effective? Because arrogance feeds on resistance. The arrogant want you to push back, to validate their superiority through conflict. But when you don't resist, their balloon deflates. You've removed the fuel from their fire. Epictetus said it best. No one can harm your mind without your permission. By choosing this phrase, you keep your mind free. You don't let their arrogance live rent-free inside your head. Picture this in real life. At a family barbecue, your uncle dismisses your career choices with a smirk. Instead of defending yourself in frustration, you respond, "You have a right to think that way." Suddenly, he has nowhere to go. His stage collapses. Everyone sees your composure online. Someone mocks your opinion in a heated debate. Instead of firing back, you reply calmly with the same phrase. Watch how quickly their energy dissolves. It's not weakness, it's strength. Because real power is not in proving yourself right, it's in refusing to be dragged into meaningless battles. Part 3. The art of redirection. That's an interesting point. You've given me something to think about. Arrogance thrives on rejection. The arrogant expect you to shoot them down. That's their battlefield. But when you respond with curiosity, you flip the script. Imagine a professor in California belittling a student's idea during class. The student, instead of shrinking or snapping, calmly says, "That's an interesting point. You've given me something to think about." Suddenly, the arrogance is thrown off balance. This isn't sarcasm. It's not passive aggression. It's genuine calm, and it's incredibly strategic. By saying this, you place the arrogant in the role of a teacher without surrendering the ground. You acknowledge their point without elevating it above all others. Seneca reminds us, nothing is so arrogant that it cannot be softened by reason. This phrase embodies that teaching. It transforms confrontation into reflection. Think about digital culture today. Social media is a breeding ground for arrogance. Influencers, commenters, strangers shouting for dominance. The next time someone tries to humiliate you online, imagine replying with, "That's an interesting point. You've given me something to think about." You're not giving them victory, you're taking control. This is how you disarm arrogant people in daily life. Not by fighting their storm, but by redirecting it into silence. Part 4. The shield of patience. I'd prefer to hear more before I respond. This is a phrase of subtle but devastating strength. Arrogant people crave quick disputes. They want you to react instantly, because that's their arena. But patience is a weapon they cannot fight. Imagine a heated financial discussion at home in Chicago. A spouse, frustrated with bills, raises their voice, pushing their opinion as absolute instead of pushing back. You'll breathe and say, "I'd prefer to hear more before I respond." The dynamic shifts immediately. Marcus Aurelius taught, "The power to live well lies in choosing how we react." By delaying your response, you take command. You show self-confidence and wisdom. In modern workplaces, this is gold. Picture a boss in a Silicon Valley startup, convinced his way is the only way. He expects quick pushback. Instead, you respond with patience. Everyone sees who holds true authority, the one who remains steady. Arrogance wants urgency. Stoicism thrives in patience. And with this phrase, you become unshakable. Part 5. Breaking illusions. It's interesting how everyone sees the world differently. Plus, if that makes you happy, then that's fine. These last two phrases dismantle arrogance completely. The first, it's interesting how everyone sees the world differently. It's like holding up a mirror. Arrogant people live under the illusion that their opinion is universal truth. This phrase gently shatters that illusion. It reminds everyone that perspective is not absolute. Epictetus told us, "It's not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of things." This phrase brings that teaching to life. In family arguments, in politics, in culture wars, this response elevates you above the noise. And finally, the knockout phrase, "If that makes you happy, then that's fine." Why is this so powerful? Because arrogance thrives on domination. By calmly granting them happiness, you reveal their fragility. You expose the desperate need for validation behind their loud voice. Marcus Aurelius said, "The things we give importance to have power over us." By refusing to give importance to arrogance, you take away its power. Picture this in a workplace setting. A colleague brags about outperforming you. Instead of competing, you say, "If that makes you happy, then that's fine." The silence that follows says everything. You've stepped out of the ring, and that's why you've already won. So let's recap the 5 Stoic phrases that can disarm arrogant people in any situation. 1. You have a right to think that way. Removes their fuel. 2. That's an interesting point. You've given me something to think about. Flips confrontation into curiosity. 3. I'd prefer to hear more before I respond. Wields patience as a weapon. 4. It's interesting how everyone sees the world differently. Breaks the illusion of absolute truth. 5. If that makes you happy, then that's fine. Ends the game entirely. Notice what all these phrases have in common. They don't fight arrogance with arrogance. They dismantle it with serenity. They expose arrogance for what it really is. Insecurity in disguise. This is the essence of Stoicism. You don't need to raise your voice to win. You only need to master yourself. So the next time arrogance walks into the room at work, at home, online, remember, your calm is the most powerful weapon. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who needs it, and subscribe to Stoic Blend for more timeless lessons applied to modern life. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these phrases will you try first the next time you face arrogance?